Hey guys, StarCraft here, and today I'm not going to get to the Star Wars. Not at the moment. I've just been a bit. Some of these are taking a little while longer because of, well, given how things are going. And today is not going to be a full-on spotlight. Not entirely. I'm going back to doing some Elseworlds, or at least an Elseworld. This one deserves more of a discussion. This one we're going to be talking about Superman True Brit. Yeah, this. I'm not gonna be able to get through just doing a whole just talking points and everything. Not quite. Today I'm just more going to discuss everything. So consider this more of a stories discussion than it is a story spotlight. And I'll be going over the details still, of course, but this, well, for one of the people involved with this was John Cleese of Monty Python fame, with one of his regular collaborators, Kim Howard Johnson, usually best known for the four books that include the best song, The First 280 Years of Monty Python, and is written for DC and Marvel Comics. And a lot of this stuff seems to be more like the case where it's a plotting by John Cleese and writing by Kim Johnson. And artwork also by John Byrne and Mark Farmer. Note yourself, give Mark Farmer to sign this at Motor City this year. But anyway, the reason why I want to do the discussion, like I said, it's lately hard to get through. Most people do not like this for good reason, but there's some charm to it a little. But when you expect John Cleese, you expect something more gut-busting funny. I mean, come on, this is Faulty Towers, for God's sake. But or Fish Called Wanda. Wow, so you know we can write some funny stuff, but let me put this right here at the beginning. Written by Kim Howard Johnson with some help from John Cleese. So in other words, this is mostly Kim Johnson's work, with John Cleese probably giving some ideas. And here's just, we'll just look at the start. Now again, I'll point this out throughout all of this, John Byrne's artwork works. Especially when he's drawing how his parents and everything. But you'll be basically with Jor-El telling his son how he's sent him to the most advanced nation of all, the British Empire, but then shows, and then we see images of where it's not so advanced and brilliant, or we see, how his Clark's, I'm just going with Clark right now, Kal-El's new family, include Jonathan and Martha and all that, how they basically, they are complete goofballs. Just look at how they're drawn, for example. Jonathan finds a little device that's what to explain all about Krypton to him. And, well, it's basically what it's able to, explain everything to him right then and there. So that's how they decide, oh, we should keep him. And the baby breaks Jonathan's fingers already. But then they decide that, they'll take him home and they'll hide the ship. And then, of course, you see Jor-El saying they will cheer your name wherever you roam. Of course, then we find out, they'll just deny anything ever happens. Yeah. And we basically find out how, all throughout all this, there's Colin's his name. Colin Kent is basically, Colin Clark. Sorry. Is, basically they decide he's gaining all of his abilities. His parents cannot believe it at all, as Colin is causing more and more destruction, like almost putting a hole in the roof because of his flight, shooting heat vision that causes his tea to boil over. His father's basically telling him like, no, none of this. But then they realize they have to figure things out with his heat vision. As well, first they try sunglasses, does nothing. And then he blasts his own mom, but then causes more blisters. But much like the comics, Jonathan decides to try using the windows of the spaceship. How he cuts it is anyone's guess. But basically, then he tries it and doesn't work at all. And then basically, Colin eventually asks, "Why am I so different?" And he reveals the spaceship and puts the device on his head that gives him the history of Krypton. Okay, interesting. And then, but at the end, we don't even see it, but just hints off that he used his heat vision and destroyed the device. And then he's then deciding to use you try to use his abilities for or no, he's trying to withhold from using his abilities, trying to be a respectful British man, bloke, and everything. But then he decides until finally he decides to try and use his abilities to help out. Like try and catch the horse when after he almost causes it to fly off. And unfortunately, the poor horse ends up had a bit of shock, so he's going to the vet. Things like that. Then he decides like I'll start pulling out some of the tree trunks, and he gets carried away, just like wee woo. And then his father decides, okay, I'll have him. I told him to go milk the cows by hand. Those poor cows. And then finally, when he's finally going off to college, while his parents then decide to follow the family motto of what would the neighbors think. In other words, basically, you are cursed. Hide these powers away. Anytime you're tempted to, just think what would the neighbors think. Jesus Christ Almighty. But basically, then he decides he wants to be a newspaper reporter. He wants to be able to break stories and everything. And all the while, he starts to use self-hypnosis to hold back the powers. Even saying, you are getting super sleepy. Again, what's with some of this joke? It's so... Yeah, and then we meet, Lois Lane equivalent, Louisa Lane. Although I say equivalent, it's not very fair, guys. We'll see it later. Although it's Louisa Lane Ferret. Sorry. Yeah, they have these weird names. And he basically tries to make the moves on her, but, well, she's not having any of it. She doesn't have, he's accident prone. And in this case, he is an idiot. Colin is an utter idiot. And now he then finally decides, I'm gonna go, he's gonna play some cricket. And, well, he goes off and does it. And throughout all of this, Colin is still more and more infatuated with Louisa. But then he decides, I'm gonna go out there and play. It's his turn at bat, and, well, when he does it, he ends up swinging the cricket bat, misses, and then all the memories come rushing right back. After all of that super hypnosis, it's gone as he sends the bat right into the player. We don't get his name yet, but we will. Trust me, we will. As this bat is now launched into him, and basically it's through the whole match, and no one's questioning how he's able to do it. They're just saying, go, nice going, Colin. As then he meets up with Mr. White Badger. Yeah, this is the Perry White equivalent. As basically he then looks at their main school paper about what happened with the cricket bat incident. And as he goes over, he first finds it interesting, but then he then starts tearing into Colin, basically saying, "Where's the gory, mushy detail? You were right there. How could you let this pass?" I gotta say, I do like John Byrne's artwork throughout all this, but this part especially, how Perry White is just getting right in his face. And even saying, you're the one who did it in the first place. A good reporter uses every advantage, takes advantage. How could you waste an opportunity? And then White Badger decided to make Colin his protege. Okay. After all that ranting. And yes, of course, Louisa decides, oh, you're not that bad. Okay, I'll start dating you. And he's, now at the paper. As he meets up with some of the other people there, including eventually, actually not yet, as Colin actually starts using his abilities just for little things, like finding a lost pen and lifting it up, and he's like, okay, yeah, this can help out. I'm just trying to keep my powers, doing it for slightly good stuff. And then, he's on a date with Louisa, but then that just... it soon starts, he starts to think like, I'll take an advantage of someone. As he sees someone else is, like a fiance. This actress as a fiance. But then he decides like, I'll just take a photo of it. And he starts using for that's where he's at, the Daily Smear. So he starts, doing all this tabloid trash. Then sees, these group of twins, and yeah. And also I should also point out that Louisa just dumps him already, just saying, don't bother calling me again. I should point that out, but what a bitch already. And but then we have a big circumstance going as these twins were basically almost forced off, and about to fall. Their car's about to fall. So he realizes he runs home and asks his parents, like, I gotta do something. They're telling him, no, don't, you can't do it. But I've got to. Only I can do it. And then he just heads off again, basically like, if you can do your powers without being seen. And he flies in, catches it, and, well, he shows himself off as Superman. And, well, everyone's all happy and everything, and his parents look at it like, he found a loophole. They're not going to look for Colin. They're going to pay attention to Superman. And get up as they laugh about it. And, well, Mr. Whitebearer is just like, thinking this is a great thing. Everyone's phone is off the hook. They're trying to find someone to report on him. As we then also see Jimmy Olsen, is this version of Jimmy, is trying, Jimmy Olsen is trying to sneak on down and to try and get a photo of a woman. And, well, his line snaps and he almost falls off to his death. Then Superman sees it, flies up, catches him, decides to take a nice photo, but then when Jimmy falls back, he ends up taking the shot after taking the towel off. So, of course, Whitebear is basically all like, oh yeah, this is a great story. This is a great story in the worst way. In other words, this is more Perry White if he was an exaggerated J. Jonah Jameson. Again. Yeah. And then he's thinking about doing all this crazy stuff. We then see Louisa is giving Colin another chance when all of a sudden a drink is poured onto him. It was the actress and Kate Thompson, and it reveals that it wasn't her boyfriend, but she was rehearsing with a co-star for a scene, and saying you'll be hearing from her lawyers. And then it's like, you didn't check the facts. It's against White Badger's policy. How can you stand working for him? He owns all the newspapers. Yeah, of course she then storms right out. Louisa storms out. Then he meets up with her as Superman. She's giving him, she's flirting with him big time. As he then flies off in a daze. Yeah. But the funny, interesting thing is that one, there's actually a setup for later, but two, she calls him out about working for White Badger, but again, yeah. Be right back. I'm back, sorry. Anyway, Colin decides to head home and talk to his parents, but there's no one there. So he decides to go looking around for them, saying they've been abducted, when he turns out they're right next door. Yeah, this becomes a bit of a running gag that's really stupid. As it turns out, they're trying to just, they come up with all these excuses, and of course, he's dumb enough to believe it. And even though it's like, wait, they thought it was funny, why are they all of a sudden being embarrassed? Stuff like that. And then we then see him trying to help out other people, finds a nuke, throws it, tries throwing it away, and ends up almost taking out the Eiffel Tower. And yeah, things like that. And then Royal summons for Superman as they ask him to try a trio of laborious, long-shot, impossible feats. Make the trains on time. Time is the first one. As well, he basically, pulls the train so they all do get on time, getting everyone moving more and more. So you could have them simply run on time, just run the numbers indicated, and the indicated time that the train should be departing from the station. Except, and when departing at the time, they should be arrival on time at the indicated time. Wait. Then his other second feat, reducing the time for hip operations. That's a problem. Whatever. As he decides to do it all in a debate area or whatever. Just to do it all, to do basically he decides he will do it all himself. So he helps out and gets it all taken care of very quickly. And then the third impossible task is to, and it's the most important, is to try and bring a more quality program to the BBC. As well, he then decides to this, indirectly threaten them all to do it, to which, well, they do, as he's now given medals from the royalty. As of course, White and right, White has basically, he's all like, oh yes, this is incredible, this is fantastic, and basically even yeah, they're just trying to make such a big to do about Superman, trying to make money off it. As White Badger, he again wants to do all this big stuff, but he's a rag. His whole paper's a rag. Meanwhile, as they're revealing Superman Lane, you see Collins trying to come up to who he thinks is Louisa, when really it's Lois Lane. Yeah, she's an American reporter and a cousin of Louisa. And he and Lois hit it off. She's a lot kinder, a lot more polite to him, and all that. And of course, when asked oh yeah, and that almost happened when Perry was going to moderate one of the presidential debates. We didn't know it until it was just before they went to air. White Badger would have killed someone over that. How can you work for him if he's really that bad? To which he even says he owns every newspaper and just bought BBC Two. Yeah. Talk about forcing stuff about a character just to try and make what they do later in the plot make more sense. But again, Lois is a lot better than Louisa. As well, he then goes to go see his parents, and, well, they took off again. Went someplace else, as basically explains himself how Mr. White Badger is happy with him, but he has to write dreadful stories, and he doesn't make them lurid enough. They're rewritten until they're really sleazy. To which, basically his parents try to explain maybe you try and get, to help out a bit more. As he then decides to make an offer to White Badger, but basically White Badger tries to take it up a bit further and say like, okay, we'll give you all the stuff, you will speak for us, and basically give all these as an attachment for merchandising, and Superman then backs off, which pisses off White Badger, and basically he's made him an enemy out of White Badger, which eventually leads to some decide it's that, and Superman giving an exclusive to Lois Lane really causes him to have a big issues and everything, and he decides to go after Superman. As well, it starts revealing a few things. For example, how doing the trains on time only lasted a day and a half, and that was it. And then you have all the people who he did the first time got whiplash, so they're suing. So basically it starts leading to other stuff of well, basically they're trying to do some other tasks, like pay off the national debt, because basically this leads to a little thing where everything he does, somewhat reality ensues, revealing, that's causing more harm than good. And he tries to pay off the national debt by, squeezing a bunch of coal into diamonds. As we're then introduced to another figure, Lord Stopebag. We'll find out a bit about him, as he seems to be a large fella. As we then reveal how, they basically, by doing all this stuff with the diamonds, it's devalued the diamonds. Because now there's no coal for them to use it. All the coal miners are out of a job. And, Collins thinks, let's go to other planets and bring coal. And it's like, you don't get it, do you? So it's then the Queen is decided, very well then, if he can beat in a cricket game, he can be able to, on a one-man cricket team, be able to, excuse himself of all of the problems. So he does so, and while he doesn't lose the bat, he does end up hitting the ball right towards the pitcher and lodging in his head, which causes White Badger to nickname him Brainiac. But then you see the Australian national team are the runner-ups, and they get a big trophy, whereas Superman gets a little dinky green trophy. And then, but there's this one bit, like, congratulations on behalf of the British Empire. What empire? Well, we still got part of Ireland. As Collins walking up, he steps on Stopebag's outfit and rips it off, revealing he's the guy that Colin had tossed the bat into. And he is the Batman. Turns out that his large size is a big cage that's keeping it all in. Yeah, again, very forced. And then we see White Badger and Batman, or Stokebag, are deciding to form their own Superman Revenge Squad. As now they're trying, Brightbag, because now he owns so much of everything, he's trying to destroy Superman, bring him down by forcing him to stop using his powers and everything. As yeah, basically, you have so much. He's trying to do all this other stuff, and basically trying to force him to not use his powers because of all the damage he's done. And since he doesn't sell papers anymore, he's a menace, and maybe they should sue him. All the while, Colin's getting weaker and weaker. As we're then seeing, eventually, Bright Badger was able to come and pull through and say, "Oh yes, and you're no longer allowed to use your powers." And well, eventually, Colin goes and tries to find his parents. Also, well, first he gets a paper cut, and as he's been demoted, and it seems like White Badger's going out for Colin as well. Wonder why. But anyway, Colin finds his parents have moved again as he makes it all the way up to the Arctic. As basically he asks him, like, how could you afford to move out here? Turns out Stokebag came up to him and, well, he got the Green Rock, which is obviously kryptonite, and paid his parents and Colin's parents nicely to head off. Once his the green kryptonite is gone, he's back to full powers. He flies back to White Badger, and basically tries to say, like, I'm putting you on notice. But then it turns out White Badger knows about him being Superman. How? Louisa. Turns out she put it together ever since that moment when that actress poured the drink on him. How so? Well, because when she met up with Superman, he smelled the exact same way. Yeah, idiot. And basically, yeah, he then decides, as he basically starts to put everything together and decide to try and humiliate him. But then the biggest one comes through. As Stokebag reveals that he has all this federal paperwork, where basically he gave all the money of those diamonds, and now he owes all that money back, to enter the government. He owns billions, and he can't go anywhere, otherwise he'll break that order of his powers. Yada, yada, yada. He realizes then, they've won. They're going to ruin everything. They're calling him for Live Britain Forever. But then Jimmy gets an idea, as he basically decides to call everyone there. Why are they there? Oh, Jimmy said the word that Louisa's going to do a page 3 photo shoot. Granted, White Badger mentioned how Louisa's a page 3 girl, which is their nude pages, but never anywhere does it indicate that she's that big. As then he basically comes up there and explains it all, and well, he reveals himself. And I do like this one bit. And so it's not a total disappointment. I will take my top off. Okay, that was funny. And he basically explains himself. Basically, he's beating him to the punch before the tabloids can reveal it. And he does it on his terms. And he basically starts saying, like, he was ordered to make up stories, to appeal to the lowest common denominator. Louisa finds, like, why do I find him so appealing? Yeah, you're still a bitch. Doesn't matter. Jimmy finds it so great. Jonathan and Martha are again like, oh boy, we gotta move again. Jesus. And then he's basically saying how Stokebag is, corrupt, is a corrupt politician. And basically how, all these tabloids think you're an idiot, but none of you are. White Badger's like, yes, they are. You're moron, you'll see. And he basically then gets this big, passionate speech. Basically what he does, all the other news reporters start asking all these questions as, well, he flies off. And then it turns out White Badger's quitting because there's a whole bunch of lawsuits coming his way. No one's afraid of him. Even Stokebag's suing him. And all the lawyers were given such a shot in the arm that they're willing to ignore the tax debt. But he revealed himself. So he's decided he's going to leave. But he gives Jimmy his outfit and basically decides to go for something much more simpler, as he's got a job thanks to Lois at the Daily Planet. And he's going to go to America. But he realizes his name is a bit too English. So he's going to keep Clark. But he's going to go a tribute to his mother's family. aren't they from Kent? So he goes by the name of Kent Clark. Yeah. And as he flies off, White Badger hasn't been seen in days, thinking he loses lessons as, well, Jonathan and Mars are heading to America, thinking he'll never find us there. Bright and White Badger is now the head of, not the Daily Planet, thankfully, but the Daily Star. Okay. As Superman's just now flying around saying like he's just another immigrant and America's a big country. Like I said, this is stupid. This is just really stupid. Man, not really all that funny. Seriously, so much of the humor in this is just forced. Really forced. It's basically, it's one thing, this could have been a good story. The idea of Superman landing in Britain is a good idea. But this is not. The execution is done too much of a farce. Again, it's not even that funny. And to have John Cleese's name plastered on all this is like, yeah, it gave some suggestions and all that, but otherwise, again, it's just stupid. And again, there's so many of these ideas, but it's so contrived. And I get it. It's some ideas of, oh, he thinks he can save the day. Oh, he's causing more trouble. Yeah, that's some humor, but then you have the Batman and all that. Again, this could have been good. This could have been very good. And the artwork, at least, is the only saving grace. It's still John Byrne. He's doing more of his goofier style, but it's fitting in a way. That's the only thing that kind of works. But everything else in this, it's bad. It's not the worst Elseworld I've seen, but it's still bad. It is still really bad. It's definitely everything that Superman Son is not. Superman Red Son does tell its story of Superman ending in Russia very well, but he still kept him Superman. Here, it's like did Kal-El get brain damage when he got there because, what caused this? Honestly, what caused him to be such an idiot? It's not just his upbringing, and the fact that the gag of his parents being so embarrassed by everything, even though they realized like, oh, they're not gonna look for Colin, and yet they still moved next door. Why? He wasn't doing anything embarrassing by that point. Some of the other times, okay, but it still does like, yet all what would our neighbors think? That's what they seem to believe in, and so they feel like we gotta keep on doing it because everyone's like, no one, until that point at the end, no one knew who it was you. And yet you keep acting like you still need to move because people are gonna put two and two together. Again, until the very end, I don't get it. Again, so much of this stuff just was so contrived. Oh well. At least I got through it. And who knows? John Cleese is going to be at Motor City Comic Con. Maybe I could have him sign it. Not sure, because it's one of those expensive charges, but I'm pretty sure he'll get a snicker out of it at the very least. But, yeah. Not much else going to go on. Probably going to try and get one of the other Star Wars tomorrow. Maybe something else. I don't know. But until then, see you guys.